Everybody. It's a beautiful Friday morning. I hope everybody feels as good as I do, except for this frog in my throat. Hey, it's a beautiful day out there, you guys. It's almost weekend, which that means for me family time and whatnot. But I want to end off this week by helping you guys understand what may be happening with you. You see that us three ladies up there. So look, if there's anything on this list that you're suffering with, because all of us were suffering with different things from that issue. I had all of those except for the erectile dysfunction, um, and I'm much better now, and it was just two real food products, a simple, easy system, and no struggling. You guys, this is not about making people change their life drastically. So if you're suffering with weight gain that you can't get rid of, your tummy's poking out, you're having bloating, low energy, diabetes, PCOS, yes, men, erectile dysfunction, and low testosterone are part of this too. Wow, my voice just changed. If you're having high cholesterol, thyroid problems, especially Hashimoto's and hypothyroidism or low thyroid, high blood pressure, migraines, acne, skin takes, dark skin patches, acid reflux, sleep apnea. You guys, I have so many people, including myself, that have gotten rid of our sleep apnea by doing this. I still snore because I've broken my nose a couple of times. I've had such an interesting life. It's been a fun life. But all right, guys. So I want to talk about all this morning. I want to answer your questions. I want to explain what I can, but I want to make it as simple as possible. I know sometimes I get sciencey. That those of you who like that, great. But let's try and just keep it plain and simple. I was just, it happens every morning. I turn on my TikTok. There's all these people on here talking about things. And there's a lovely lady talking about your metabolism ain't bad. You just eat too much. Well, there's maybe some truth to that. But your metabolism has everything to do with your hormones. And for many of us, there is a problem with that. Even people who are eating, and like I worked out 6 days a week, 3 hours a day, tracked all of my macros, tracked all of my calories, and I was still having maybe not as much problems with the weight. I couldn't get below 200 pounds, but I was still having all of the other problems. So why is that? All of those problems link to this one thing called insulin resistance. What you guys need to understand is, and this is not usually I say I invite you, but no, you need to understand this. If you're having problems with weight gain, you have too much insulin in your system. Too much insulin in your system is, yes, coming from too much energy or food, but you really have a hormone imbalance that's causing you to gain weight, that's causing you to have these problems why you can't lose weight. So do all of you understand what's happened to us in this society that we have? We have more food choices in our grocery stores than we have ever had. We think, yeah, but that's a good thing, Variety is a good thing, right? Well, if you understand that the reason we have more food choices is because they're trying to give you more to buy. We don't need all of the stuff that's out there. We don't need all of these snacks and all the protein bars. I hear people talking about packing to go someplace and they got to have, this place for all their great snacks. We didn't have snacks when we went everywhere when I was a kid. We had breakfast, we had lunch, we had dinner. Done. Unless it was a weekend or a party or something. So why all of a sudden do we all feel like, oh my gosh, if I don't give my kids snacks, they're not going to make it through the day. If I don't give my kids something between breakfast and lunch, I'm a bad parent. If I don't let them have snacks when they get home from school, I'm a bad parent. No, the food industry taught you guys that, and it's made us sick because all of this is resultant. Now, I'm talking about kids for a second, but do we realize when we're giving our kids snacks all the time like that what we're having is we're having more and more kids end up with these same things as a child? So maybe we need to slow our roll, right? So this is on this side of the pond. What we do is some intermittent fasting. We pay attention to what we're eating. I follow 6 simple principles. 6, not 3, 6. 6. Um, wow, that was a moment. So we're gonna do fiber first because most of the problem, not only that we're eating too much, you guys, I don't talk about fiber enough. I need to talk about it more. That was spurned on because I was listening to some doctors yesterday, and I already said it, but do you guys know what the number one nutrient that we're missing is that is like underserved? Because we all talk about protein, and even I talk about protein, right? We talk about all these other nutrients that we think we need, but according to this doctor, the one thing that nobody's talking about that we really need is fiber. And increasing your fiber by at least the amount that I'm going to show you guys in a bit will increase your longevity. It'll give you a longer, healthier, easier life just by taking care of your gut. If your gut's unhealthy, everything in your body is unhealthy. So let's deal with that. Fiber. Why? Not only are we being told to eat more often, we're being told to eat every 2 hours. We're being told eat before you get hungry because that's going to keep your metabolism going. That's exactly the opposite of what the science shows. Those are not scientific statements. Science shows that to get our metabolism revving, we need to slow down how much we're eating. That insulin, that's one of the hormones that is regulating your metabolism. Glucagon that you never hear about is the other one. So basically, you're either fueling from the food you eat or you're fueling from fat. You cannot fuel from fat when you have energy related to insulin in your system. So your metabolism then gets trained to run off of insulin, and now you're having problems because you're not doing the natural switching that your body needs. You're not getting ever able to get to those fat stores. You're not able to get that insulin down that's causing this havoc in your body. So that's a problem. Now, so it's eating too often, right? But then I keep talking about fiber. Well, our fiber has been greatly stripped from our foods. So when we look at, I don't have it here this morning. When we look at what a peach used to look like, it used to be the size of this. Okay, that used to be the size of a peach. And they were crunchy and they were a little bit more bitter. They weren't so sweet. And now you go to the grocery store and peaches are bigger than the size of my fist. And you bite into them and they're like drippy sweet. Well, what happened? They stripped the fiber out of it so they could make it bigger, juicier, more delectable for us, the consumer, because that's what we said we wanted. But now we have this food that's really high in fructose and no fibers to slow that sugar down. Fibers are in our food for a number of reasons. One of them, especially in foods that contain a lot of fructose, are there to help slow down how quickly that sugar hits our system. So it's kind of like a damper. The fiber is like a damper, so it doesn't allow the sugar to go through you so quickly. And it's interesting, just triggered a thought. I was listening to a recording I did about a year ago, and I don't know why I've never shared it, but a woman was telling me, because I get all these people like, yeah, just go do Metamucil, just go do Benefiber. I'll show you the protocol I use in a minute. But she called and she was like, my husband was a Metamucil user and he kept watching me do the protocol and he didn't understand and he ran out of his stuff. And so I sent him with a packet of mine to work and he came home and went, wow, like, why have you been hiding this from me? There's not even a comparison. And he was like unbiased. He was just like, I just need my fiber. So we're going to talk about fiber because it's so important to our health. Fibers slow down sugars in our system. They help clean us out. They slow down fats in our system. But it takes the right kind of fibers. You guys, every fiber in every plant is different, acts different in our body. So it's important to understand that. Okay? We're eating too much. We're getting not enough fiber in our system, and that's probably there's messages coming in and it's like making my head crazy. So that's part of why we're having this insulin problem, why I talk about insulin resistance so much. So if we understand that and we want to get our health back, we want to lose weight, we want to have our memory back, we want to sleep better, we want to do all of these things, and you're like I was, you've gone to the doctor's not helping you, nobody's giving you answers, and they're just saying, before I dive in and show you the protocol, how many of you guys have gone to your doctor and had your doctor say, just lose some weight and that's going to make everything better? If you just tried harder, if you just cared enough about your health and you just lost that weight, everything for you would get better. How many of you guys have heard that? Because good morning, Melba, and good morning, Jill. Because I heard it all the time. And it was to the point where I was breaking down in tears. You guys, I'm not a lazy person. Like I said, if I was a lazy person, would my butt be in the gym 6 days a week, 3 hours a day, working to be a world champion? Like that was a few years ago, but would I have done that? No, right? So yes, that's what we get told. And then on the other hand, when you're diabetic, you're getting told to snack more. You're getting told, oh, don't let your blood sugars drop too low, because then you've got to like have some sugary, like super sugary treat to get your blood sugars back up. No, all of that's wrong. We'll go over all of that in a little bit. I get this. I am not a doctor or a nutritionist. I'm a woman who got sick with all of this stuff, worked in doctor's offices for years, was the one that was taking care of you guys for years, and they didn't help me. And I figured it out on my own because I stumbled on this protocol. So the protocol, I do a tea in the morning, and that's what is in my cup this morning. Every morning I have it. It tastes great. It tastes like a lemon iced tea. I have it hot or cold. But what that does is I'm fasting right now. I mean, a little bit of a fasting. Yep. Sally over here hers says, just lose some weight and take this pill. Oh yeah. How many of you guys are given a pill for all of this stuff? And did you know you don't have to be doing pills for all of that stuff? Good morning, Janice. But the tea, it gives me energy. It gives me mental clarity. Ladies, how many of you guys are suffering with brain fog and loss of mental clarity as you age? I know it happens to men, but it happens more to women as we age. 95% of doctors just tell you to lose weight. So the tea, again, is giving me energy, but it's also helping me switch. So I'm now in fat burning mode. Now my body's not hungry because I have enough fuel on my body to serve me. Hunger is when you are needing energy. And if your body's stuck in insulin mode, when you're in a fasting mode, it's going to be super hungry because it's looking for the energy to feed the insulin. We got to stop this cycle, right? When we look at anything in life, there's a balance, right? Yin yang, black white, whatever, day night. We're in we'll call insulin daytime. I don't know why, but it's like being in perpetual daylight with insulin, whereas it's just too much and you start to shut down. So we need to get that glucagon out. We need to allow ourselves to burn fat for fuel. We need this to happen. That's why I advocate for fasting, but it's hard. I wasn't able to fast before because of the insulin. Now I go through fasts. I'm not hungry. I feel fine. I have tons of energy. I'll go work out fasted, not hurting me, not losing weight, not losing muscle, not losing any of that stuff. Extreme mental clarity, and you are never cold. I need more. I need more information on where you're going with that, Kara. And then I'd love to talk about it. So tea. I have that every morning. It helps me with the energy, but it's not this jittery, crazy energy that's gonna, like, I call it, like, throw you against the wall and drop you to the floor. You'll come down off of it really smoothly. And part of that high energy is because you are utilizing your own fat for fuel now. And so then about noon I eat, and then remember we were talking about fiber, because I know that I'm not getting in all the right fibers and enough fiber. I'm carnivorous. I like chicken and I like fish, and every once in a while I eat red meat, but I eat a lot of protein in my diet, but I don't get in enough fibers, nor when I'm traveling, like I'll be traveling tomorrow, do I have the time and space to worry about carrying a salad with me all day. So I supplement. I get this in every day, every time before I eat, every time, 10 minutes before. What that does, and by the way, it's super easy. I just mix it in a bottle of water like this, shake it up, 3 or 4 times, drink it down, wait 10 minutes, and then I eat. It's easy, easy peasy. This will go in my purse tomorrow. I'll have a bottle of water with me. It's easy to get a bottle of water from the gas station and do the same thing. That gives me the fiber. Why fiber? Because that fiber is going to go into my stomach first. And this particular blend of fibers, 7 different soluble and insoluble fibers, start to gel up in my gut. They start to make me feel full before I even eat. And they start to coat my gut. So now that acidic gut is soothed down. But as I do eat, that food drops into that gel matrix. And because the gel matrix is moving slower out of my gut, it means that those foods of sugars and whatnot are moving slower through my gut too. Now we don't have extreme sugar spikes that are causing big insulin spikes. And our insulin spike comes down lower, and it can come down quicker because it's not so high. And now we're starting to reverse this metabolic disorder. So fasting and then these fibers. Fasting and fibers are what we're doing. And that's it. So I'm gonna say right now, I have, like yesterday I had somebody on who was talking about, all of these other natural things, and I have people come on and say just eat whole food, real foods. Look, that's a little elitist for some people. Most of us are not at the place where we can do that, right? Most of us just don't have resources for that or the understanding. It's just not possible, and it doesn't make it simple and sustainable. What we want to do is make becoming insulin sensitive, getting the weight off. I'm down 50 pounds. She's down 50 pounds. She's down 120 pounds. We want to make it easy and sustainable and for you guys to have a real life. Because the fact is, we're changed. We're in an environment that just is not the same as it used to be. So if you want the product, you just go to my profile, tap on that link. I'm going to show it really quick here. I want to answer a couple of questions. Good morning, Lilibeth. And then, yeah. Oh, Melba, I love my eggs and bacon, but what are other fiber foods for breakfast? Melba, that's why I don't, you guys, that's why I do this, because it takes that variety of fibers. If you guys look up on Google, there's 3 fibers that are really good for reducing blood sugar. They're not in those other ones that you get on the counter in the canister, and nor can you take those, and who wants to measure all that shit out anyway? But this has all 3 of those in here. So for breakfast, my fiber, Melba, is I just use the protocol. Use the protocol. I'll have steak and eggs. I'll have bacon and eggs. I'll have sausage and eggs, maybe some avocado, and usually I have a pear at breakfast. So, but for me, I just start the day. I've made it easy on myself. I want to make it easy on everybody else too. So I just use the protocol because now I know I have the right fibers in the right amounts to do what I need it to do. So we're going to go click on my link up top, or on my picture up top. That's going to take you, let's Misha. Let's show you where we're going. How about that? All right. So when you get to my profile on TikTok, this is what it's going to look like. You'll see the red lights. You guys, I talk about this all the time. The red lights right below it is a link. There's also a video pinned in the top profile if you want to go there later that shows you exactly how and where to go to order. But when you click on that, you're going to get taken to my landing page. So there's a bit of information there. I do have a website that explains the products, that has nutrition panels, all of that. There's a free ebook for the 6 simple steps I'll be going over in a minute. And then I forget, you guys, that you can't see me over there if I do this. So there. So there's a free Facebook group. You can also contact me and ask questions. But to order the system, you're going to click on this top one. And that's going to take you here. Make sure it says Michelle Fayon and that it has this. Then you're going to click on Buy Now. The reason you want Michelle Fayon is you're getting 3 guarantees. You're getting a low price guarantee. You're getting me for coaching. You're getting a quality guarantee. And you're getting a satisfaction guarantee. You don't get those, you guys, so many people will be like, okay, cool, I'm gonna run to Amazon, eBay, order this. You don't get any of the guarantees and you don't get coaching. I've had so many people call me and be like, hey, I've been on the system 2 months and you've never called me. Well, you didn't use my link, did you? How am I supposed to know to call you? You ordered from Amazon. I don't know that. Okay, so a tea in the morning, a pre-meal drink before I eat anything. Right now we have this amazing apple flavor out. I hear it's just about out. It's a limited time thing. So the tea you can have in lemon or lemon ginger, and you just order whichever one you want. I like the lemon to start with. The apple crush, I would get it now while you can. You can get orange anytime. Then guys, leave it on a monthly subscription. You're going to save yourself about $15 in total, because you're getting $5 off the product and you're not having to pay shipping, and you get this handy dandy free hand mixer with your first order. So save yourself some money. Look, you can cancel it at any time. It says right there, cancel at any time. And if you are like something's happened and you need to do that, then you just say, hey Misha, I'm having problems. I need help. I need to know how to cancel, and I'll help you. Okay, so there's that. That's where you get the products. It's guys, it's a life changer, a game changer. I've been listening to videos or recordings that I made. I suck at getting people's success stories out. I have tons of them. I don't know why it's this hiccup for me, but I do have them. Is IF good for PCOS? Let's talk about PCOS, shall we? So, here, let me get you the link on Facebook and YouTube. Hang on a second. And then we're going to talk about PCOS, because okay, that's taken care of. There you guys go. Sorry about that. Cheryl, there's the link to that link tree. And now for PCOS, the light is bright this morning, guys. It's crazy bright, and I like it, but at the same time, it's insane over here. Oh, we want this one. All right. So PCOS. Let's talk about PCOS really quick, or as much as you need, okay? So when we look at PCOS, I'm not going to get too scientific-y, but we're talking about your ovaries. And with insulin resistance, you are not converting. I'm going to take it one more step back. You have two types of hormones in your body. You have androgens and you have estrogens for sex hormones, okay? There's way more hormones than that. Androgens come first and they get converted into estrogens. Estrogens and how they convert and the levels of those are what's telling your body to ovulate. Well, for women with PCOS, with insulin resistance, your body's not getting the cue to convert these testosterones into estrogens or androgens into estrogens. So now you have low estrogen level. Your ovaries are not getting what they need to stimulate other hormone production, like luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone. Now your cycle is out of whack. You have eggs that are getting put out and they're not being able to be ejected or dissolved from your system, so they're being dropped into your ovaries. And then you get these little cysts because those eggs are like decaying in the cell wall or the wall of your ovaries. At the same time, because these androgens aren't getting converted, you're having all of this stuff like facial hair, you're starting to see weight gain, you're starting to have male pattern baldness, a number of things, including anxiety and depression. But it all starts with insulin resistance for most women. Most women with PCOS really just have insulin resistance. And if you take care of the insulin resistance, the PCOS symptoms get better. I have a number of ladies who have had, were like I had PCOS when I was younger, didn't know about this system, struggled, so I understand what you're struggling with. I am 59, not struggling with it anymore, not claiming that, but I understand your struggle. So I couldn't get pregnant. I had painful periods. I wish I would have known about this then. Now, the younger ladies who are going through this now have been able to lose weight. Some of them within the first month on the system, their periods are normalizing. I remember one of my gals, within 3 months, she was trying to start a family, married, And she was told she was never going to have kids. But on month 3, so she had a regular period month 1, had a regular period month 2, all excited. Month 3 comes along, no period. She's like, what the hell? I thought this was going so good. Guess what? She was pregnant. She now has that 1-year-old baby, and her PCOS is still maintained by getting the insulin resistance under control. And all she did was the protocol I just shared with you guys. So I know that's a little bit brief, but does that make sense to you? Do you understand why? Oh, you asked about intermittent fasting. Let's talk about that. So yes, if you're have excess weight, not thin. So there's a couple of people who should not do intermittent fasting, and maybe I'll do a video on that this weekend. How about I do that? Let me make myself a note, or I will forget, you guys. I got so much going on all the time. But I'll do a video on who intermittent fasting is not for this weekend. But if you're very lean, if you don't have a lot of excess fat, you don't need to intermittent fast. If you're a pregnant woman, you shouldn't intermittent fast. There's a cycle for intermittent fasting for ladies. And so I don't know if you know who Mindy Pelz is, P-E-L-Z. I got that juice. I can't say that. But check with her. She's written books on fasting for women, and she goes through your whole cycle, like when you should fast and what type of fasting you should do throughout your cycle. So most of the girls that I've helped started out with a 16-8 fast, and then as their periods got normalized, then they started paying more attention to that. But yes, you can intermittent fast if you're PCOS in absence of other health issues, okay? And then I'm not sure what you missed. Oh, Ray. Do you what's your background, Ray? Because intermittent fasting, it's not just that it causes you to be in a deficit, because when I do 16-8 fasting, I still get in the same amount of calories and nutrients as if I would be on a diet and had 3 meals a day. I'm still getting in. It's not, so let's talk about that, you guys. Let's talk about this. Ray, thanks for bringing this up. I want to talk about something real quick. So when we're talking about intermittent fasting, what you need to understand is what's happening to your hormones while you're in this state, right? So we're technically fasting a couple hours after we stop eating. Why we're talking about intermittent fasting is we're trying to get this insulin level down so that we can break into the fat burning mode. So in an 8-hour fast, which is people's sleep hours, you're really not hitting that fat burning mode yet. So it goes a little like this. Let's just take an imaginary timeline and say if you stopped eating at 6 p.m., about 2 hours later, your food is digested through, your blood sugars start to normalize. It actually takes about 4 hours for your blood sugars to normalize. And then it takes another it takes 8 hours after you've done eating for your insulin levels to come down if you're insulin adapted and not metabolically flexible. So for most people, 93% of us have a metabolic disorder. Most people, it's going to take a minimum of 8 hours after they eat for that insulin level to come down. Why is that important? Insulin is anabolic. It wants things to grow. It's not going to let you break down fat. It's not going to let you burn fat. It's going to encourage fat storage. And it doesn't matter whether you put a bite of food in your face or not. If insulin is there, it's going to prevent that. So the key with intermittent fasting is getting the insulin down. So about 2 hours after insulin is finally kind of gone to sleep and down, then the body goes, oh, good, we get to play now. So your gut starts to reset. You start to have glucagon come out. Now, glucagon's the other side of that yin-yang thing. And then the glucagon is catabolic. It wants to eat things up. So it's going to start creating human growth hormone. You're going to get cells starting to reset. You're going to get ketones kicking out that are little messengers that tell you to burn fat for fuel. But that's like at 10 hours, right? That just begins at 10 hours. And it starts to ramp up every hour after. Now, between hours 14 and 16 is when you really get into a good state of fat burning. But you're really not into even autophagy yet. But so 16, yes. 8 or 10 hours, you can call it fasting, technically. But for these purposes, it's not doing you a damn bit of good. You need to be at least 12 hours without food. And how many of you guys have done that? 410, pre-diabetic. So I don't have his picture up here, and I'm going to answer this other question. Ray, I have a guy who was similar. He started out close to 400 pounds. He's lost 160 pounds in a year. He walks. He doesn't have a chance to get to the gym. He has a very physical job. He did the same protocol I'm talking about and some intermittent fasting. And in a year, he's lost 160 pounds and retained his muscle and gained his whole health back. So, and it was easy and sustainable for him and his lifestyle. That's what I'm talking about. So how do you get past that sick feeling the first day? So you guys, when I'm talking about intermittent fasting, look, I know I do some crazy fasting things. I've done 5, 7, and 10-day fasts because I want my 59-year-old body cleaned up now that I understand all the damage that's happened. But for 2 years, I just did the 16-8 fast. Now, if you're having a sick feeling, if you're having energy waning, if you're having all of that stuff, it's a good indication that this is a problem. So instead of running back and pouring more sugar into your system and running back and saying, I feel sick, so I'm gonna throw more food in my face, give it a break. So that's why I love the system. This actually shuts down that hunger because it's allowing me to amplify that fat burning. So this has components in it and it's a natural plant, one single plant from Argentina. But this helps shut down the hunger. It helps shut down that icky feeling. You're not having those feelings now. Because insulin, one of the other things that happens when you have insulin present all the time, it gets a little cranky and it's like, I'm up here like a soldier, you're not giving me food. So you got to you've trained your body to have high levels of insulin. Now you got to retrain it to bring the insulin levels down. Okay? So it's about bringing it down. I've done a 4-day fast and it was hard. Yeah, you guys, so I'm going to start doing some videos on this every other day fasting that I've adopted because I want to accelerate things. I'm very much more aware of the damage that's been done to my liver and a few things now because I'm feeling the pain from that. So I'm doing an every other day fast. For me, this 36 and 12 fast is working amazing. But I would start with a 16-8 fast. The protocol can be found in my profile. Just go right up there, click on my picture, and it will take you to a landing page. That landing page has the first option is to purchase the protocol. A tea in the morning and a pre-meal drink before I eat anything. Okay. So the fasting, okay? So for me, I started playing at about 2 years with extended fast because I was having other health issues because my gallbladder got removed, which was resultant of the long-term insulin resistance I had. So now I'm trying to fix my body that I understand what's going on. But fasting only needs to be a 16-8 when you start. Okay, I would not do it longer than that unless you're under a physician's care, or unless you're extremely, extremely self-aware of what's going on. So the 5, 7, and 10-day fasts, that's what I was going to talk about. I've done them, and I'm stubborn enough that I can make it through. Look, for me, I'm ADD. Either I have food or I don't have food. It's harder on me for the days that I have food because I have impulse control problems. On the days I don't have food, I just feel that I'm not supposed to eat today, and as hard as it is, it's okay. But those longer fasts, it takes some time to work up into those, and it is hard. For me, it's not, I have the tea when I'm fasting. This does not break a fast. This was developed by the same metabolic scientist who wrote this book, Why We Get Sick. Okay? He doesn't have a stake in the company, but he helped develop this. So Ben Bickman, Why We Get Sick, one of the top metabolic scientists in the world. A lot of my information, Ray, get his book and read it. That's where the information comes from. I utilize the tea. That helps keep me from feeling hungry, and it helps make the fast easier. Even on my 5, 7, and 10-day fasts, I did that. One of the fasts, on the 10-day fast, I was like, okay, I'm going to check things out. I'm going to see what's happening. And so I was like, I don't believe this breaks your fast. I have ketone testers. I have blood sugar testers. I check my blood pressure, all of this stuff. So I try to monitor what's happening. I don't just blindly go about stuff. Now, so I did the pre-meal drink in my 10-day fast, and what I noticed, and I talked to Dr. Bickman about this, was that my ketones actually went up after drinking this. I wasn't eating. Yes, I'm getting the fibers in, but I wasn't eating, and my ketones still went up, which means that I was having more fat burning. So if you get really hungry, I do feel like this will stop some of the autophagy, like cleaning out the other junk cells, because you're putting stuff in your gut, and so you're not really allowing your gut to reset, but you're allowing ketones to get out. So if you're doing a fast for weight loss purposes, I found that the balance works really well in there for me. But yeah, that's it. It makes it easy. I've not done a water fast because I want to make sure I'm getting in my electrolytes. I want to make sure that my body's being nourished. I am 59. I've had over 130 inches of scarring from injuries and surgeries across my body. I've had like 20 broken bones. I've had 3 joint replacements. Like, it's, my body just does not need more trauma than it already has received. It's not going to heal in a traumatic state. So for me, I still use the tea and make sure that I'm getting in nutrients, electrolytes when I fast. Now let's talk. Do you guys want to talk about this 36 and 12 fast? Because I'm finding it to be gold. I've been playing with other fasts. 16-8 became like a real standard. That's easy enough for me now. It's not even, there's not even a thought to a 16-8 fast. That's just easy. But this 36 and 12 fast. So Ray said we're technically fasting while we're sleeping. Absolutely we are. So the 36 and 12 fast, for the, you who did the 4-day fast, you might take a look at this. So what I'm doing now is, today is actually a fasting day. Yesterday was an eating day. Would you be interested, if anybody knows ketones, and if you don't, have me explain it. I woke up this morning and my ketones were at 4, and I had 3 meals yesterday. Normally, when you wake up and you're in a fed state, your ketones are somewhere. If you're becoming metabolically flexible, between 0.5 and 1. So my last meal was like at 7 o'clock yesterday. So 7 o'clock this morning is 12 hours of fasting. 7 o'clock tonight will be 24 hours. Now, at 24 hours, all those things I talked about where you're starting to burn fat, all of this is happening. Now your gut's starting to reset. Now you're starting to produce new stem cells. Now you're starting to have this really great state of autophagy. So autophagy just means eating up the junk cells that are in your body. It's not eating up the healthy muscle, by the way. That's a lie. That doesn't happen. But it's eating up all the stuff like the excess fat that I still carry, some of these damaged cells that have been hanging around and replicating. By the way, when a cell is damaged, it creates another damaged cell. You have to start creating a healthier cell, and then it gets healthier and healthier. So you can either continue creating damaged cells, or you can start trying to reverse that and create healthier cells. That's what autophagy does for you. That's why this extended fasting is good for you, in part. Very nuts and bolts, right? But so between hours 12 and 36, when I'm sleeping, my body's like going to war, cleaning up all this junk in my system. Then I wake up in the morning. My first meal has a lot of I've adopted. I've been creating some shakes that I like to have in the morning. Um, and I'm trying to incorporate some egg into it instead of protein mix so that I'm more eating whole foods. But I have that, it's high in protein, high in fats, and high in protein, I mean, it's like between 20 and 30 grams of protein and fats. That's my first meal after that 36-hour fast. And then I allow myself to have two meals that are whatever I want. So yesterday I had, what did I have? I had butter chicken because it's just me. I had 2 servings of it to make sure that it was cleaned out because I know I'm not going to eat again until Sunday. But I also had naan with it, naan bread with it. I didn't have to skip the bread. I had it. Now, would things change for me quicker if I dropped to below 20 grams of carbs a day for a while? Yeah, but I wouldn't suggest that you do that all the time. So for me, the 36 and 12 has been easy, especially with ADD. So all my ADD people out there who have impulse control and who go through this for me, what I'm finding is makes it so easy. Because during the day, I wake up knowing today's a day I'm not going to eat, and I just drink my tea and I have my water, and it's not like it's just easy because there was the other night I saw something on the counter and I'm picking up and I'm like, oh, and I almost threw something into my mouth and I'm like, don't do that because you're just in the state where you're doing really well. Have a really good breakfast that you love in the morning and you'll be fine. And so now on my eating days, I don't have to feel restricted. I don't eat all day. I keep my meals to a 12-hour window, but it's made it really easy for me and I feel much more in control. So if you got ADD or any of those symptoms, that style of intermittent fasting for me has been working really, really well. Plus my inflammation is down, my weight's coming down, some of the lower belly bloat from the missing gallbladder and stuff has gone down drastically. A lot of things have changed for me. I feel better, I feel happier, I feel like I have more energy. Melba's asking, does the pharmacy have what you need to check ketones? So yes, they do. I got mine on Amazon, and Melba, if you go to my link, that same link where the ordering is, at the very bottom of that, let's take a look at it real quick, okay? And then I'll show you guys where to get the protocol that I use that's helping me be able to fast and do all this stuff and actually get my life back. We'll talk about what my life was like before. I'm the one on the left up here, and these other two ladies have done the same thing I've done, but let's look at my page so you can see that. So when you go to my profile picture at the top of this, or click on my profile picture on any photo or any video I have over on TikTok, you'll get to my profile. Looks like this. Click on the link below the red lights and it's going to get you here. Over on Facebook and YouTube, I've already dropped that link in. So when you come down here, there's this my recommendations. So the ketone tester I use is a blood ketone tester, and you can just, I think it gets there in like a day. I'm so spoiled. But there it is right there. You guys, I don't sell them, but these are all the tools that I use. So you can just find, if I talk about anything enough, it usually ends up on this page just so that it makes it easier for you guys. The book I was talking about that everybody should get is here as well. So for those of you who do want to order the system, we're going to come back to that really quick. Here it is, the very top one. So look, yeah, diabetes, high blood pressure. I've lost 50 pounds. My diabetes and high blood pressure are reversed, and this is all I did. So it's a tea that I have in the morning and a pre-meal drink before I eat anything. And we'll go over what this looks like now when I'm doing a 36-12 fast instead of a 16-8 fast. And you can get your choice of flavors. The little blue line means that's your selection. It's already pre-selected for lemon, apple crush, because this is only going to be around for a few more weeks, I think, and it's going to be sold out. And then you just leave it on monthly subscription because you're going to save yourself at least $15. And look, I want you healthy, but I don't want you spending more money than you need to spend. I don't like to spend more money than I need to. Why would I want you guys to? All right. Okay, so we're back here now. Did I miss any questions? Good morning, Liddy Lou. Let me get my beautiful people back on Facebook under control again. Thank you for the loves, honey. Okay, so any more questions about any of this stuff? Because I think that if we all understood, Melba, I'm going to show you one more time, just because if you're going to go to the pharmacy and get it, that's fine. I do blood ketone. I wish that I would have gotten the blood sugar one, because they do have one. They do have one that does your blood sugar and your blood ketones, in the same one. So I don't know if this will pull up my history. I have not played with it in that way, but my ketones were at 4 this morning, which means I'm in a great fat burning state. I'm clearing out cells, and I've only been fasting for 10 hours this time. But this is what happens when you start to adopt this lifestyle, when you start to utilize the tools, get what your body needs, and your body can actually function like it's supposed to. We are not functioning on all 4 cylinders or all 6 cylinders now anymore. We're like using one cylinder to try and get our engines running, and that doesn't work for us. On days when I eat, what can I have for breakfast, and do I still drink the tea too? Yes. So, yeah, you can drink the tea. Absolutely, you guys, here's the thing. This is food, the protocol. I keep tossing the packets around. So the tea, who knows what I did with it too. Really, seriously, you guys, I don't know. All right. I really lost 2 packets just now. So the tea that you drink, honey, I drink it every day regardless of what time I eat. Now, one of the first things I want to do in my day is drink my tea, because it's giving me that energy, and it's so much more than just helping in the fasted state. There are components in the tea that are some of the only things that can cross the blood-brain barrier. A little sciencey. All that means is it can get nutrients to the brain. So now your brain is functioning more properly. You are having better moods. You're having less anxiety and depression. You're having more normal uptake and production of serotonin and dopamine. So I love the tea for all of those reasons. Yeah, it does great helping me fast and helping me burn fat, but it's so much more than that. So I have my tea every day, no matter what. One of the first things I do in the morning, my morning routine, I get up and I have this whole meditation and learning and stuff. Well, after the meditation, the first thing I do is I go make my tea, and then I have this while I'm doing all the other things I do before I come live. I sip on it all morning. If I'm thirsty in the afternoon and want another one, I have another one. And I can explain all of the stuff about the tea in a little bit if you guys need me to. But yes, the tea always. So with the 36-12 fast, now on a 16-8 fast, which is what I would encourage everyone to start with. On those days, I have the tea in the morning. I don't eat anything until about noon, and that first meal is generally something like a good protein and eggs, which is still protein. So I'm getting a lot of protein. Got to add some fats in there, so I'll add a cheese in there or avocado in there for those healthy fats. And then if I'm going to have a carbohydrate, generally it's a pear afterward. Pear has the same component in it that this tea does, not in as high amount, but it has that chlorogenic acid in it that's going to help boost your mood, mental clarity, metabolism, all of that. Pears, by the way, I've learned, I've been listening to a doctor who wrote a book called Food as Medicine, Dr. Lee, L.I., and I've always loved pears, so now that just gives me an excuse to eat pears. In his hierarchy, it's pears and then berries. So pears and berries are the 2 fruits I eat the most, and if I have a fruit, it will be after my breakfast, at the end of the breakfast. And then I will have whatever I want for dinner. Like, I try to eat clean, and most days I do. Most days I'll have not a lean protein, I'll have a clean protein, and I'll have like a lot of vegetables in there, like broccoli or spinach or mashed cauliflower or something. I do have mashed potatoes though. You guys, I don't And I love baked potatoes. Every once in a while, I'm not gonna lie, I do a baked potato and I load it up with chicken, sour cream, and bacon, and some cheese and tomatoes. I love tomatoes, and that might be my dinner for the day. I don't do that every day, but I don't have to skip those because guess what? This protein helps me, or this pre-meal drink helps me slow down the delivery of those carbohydrates so they're not so damaging to my system. Good morning, Feel Great Queen. Good morning, good morning. I missed you and Angels. So, Angel, what it is you get it in my profile. I have a tea in the morning and I have a pre-meal drink, which is this one because I threw my packets. Who knows where they're at? Um, and that's it. I've drink a tea in the morning, a pre-meal drink before I eat anything. These are real food products. These are not medicine, but they are in the PDR. There's science behind it. There's clinical studies behind it. That's why it's allowed to be in the PDR. That's why this system is one of the only natural food products, well, some of the few that are in the PDR, period. Okay, so yeah, this is real, and we have cardiologists who are prescribing it because it's in the PDR. Your doctor can prescribe it. I haven't talked about that. Good morning, Jason. Yeah, and it has a really complete vitamin and mineral profile in it. So as well as the tea. You know, the tea, the Argentinians who collect it call it the food of the gods. When they don't have other food, they have not just subsisted on that tea, they thrive on that tea because it has so many components in it that are good for them. So they're not eating the concentrated form that we are, they're eating the whole leaf. But our source is straight from the farmers, extremely clean, but it's highly concentrated, up to 375 times more of those chlorogenic acids that are so good for all of this up here in this tea than any normal bagged tea, and 10 times more than in a cup of coffee. So, yeah, I keep coming back to Melba's question. Now, I was gonna say, it helps with your morning anxiety. It gives you clarity and energy without coffee jitters. Yes. I can't, you guys, because of my stomach, I call it native gut. I can't tolerate coffee well. The tea I do well with. The coffee would always give me like acidic, burning stomach, and I just like, some people love coffee. I've never been a huge coffee drinker, but the tea I love. And you guys, you can add things into the tea in the morning if you want to change up the flavor that don't add calories and don't break the fast. So one of the things, I'm working on some combinations and recipes for everybody who purchases from me. But one of them is we've added some chai spice. I made my own chai spice to make sure it's super clean and not got things that are going to break my fast. I've had the lemon ginger tea hot with chai spice. Amazing. Jason tested it out for me. What did you think of that, Jason? But I also, like Melba. Yeah, Monica. Thank you, Jason. So not every insurance pay for it, but some will. So it's worth that shot, right? If you're already going to see your doctor for these things and you're like, hey, doc, I'm doing the system, it's in the PDR, will you write me a prescription for it? If your doctor is a good doctor, he will. I worked for a number of doctors. Most of them would, I would say. And then you just take that prescription and your receipt to your insurance, and they will likely reimburse you, but not every one of them will. Yeah. So that chai unamate is amazing, you guys. I've also created a couple of drinks. So Melba, I'm coming back to you again on the days like I'm interrupted this week. Some things change, so I may end up fasting 2 days in a row. Doesn't really matter. The next day I eat. There is a shake that I've created, a smoothie, whatever if you would call it, but it's just healthy fats. It has the Unamate tea in it, has some berries in it, and a little bit of protein, and it's yummy. It's a berry lemonade smoothie for breakfast. Gives you all the nutrients you need, and it tastes great. Like, I don't always want to do shakes for breakfast, but there's times, like when I'm on the road. Like, tomorrow when I'm driving might be a day that, like, I don't want to take the time for bacon and eggs, or I don't want to stop and get something crappy along the way. So I'll probably make a shake like that and take it in the car with me on the hour and a half drive I have to this meeting tomorrow. But it's simple. This is actually really easy. I'm getting more into healthier foods because I've had so many people ask. But I know Jason has been a warrior. When he decided to do this, he just like dove in and started doing all the right things. Me, I lost 50 pounds in my first 5 months, and I didn't. I was driving for Lyft and Uber, so I would have like McDonald's or Jack in the Box almost every day because I worked from 9 at night till like 8 in the morning. When they would force me to shut down, I would go home and sleep. But during COVID, when all that was going on, those were some of the only places I could have food. I couldn't keep it in the car because I was doing a lot of airport runs, whatever. I just didn't have the availability of food. Now, when I was home, I tried to eat better. But yeah, I was not perfect at all, and I still reversed my diabetes, got the weight off, reversed my high blood pressure, reversed my high cholesterol, got my thyroid under control, stopped my migraines. I have not had breakouts on my face for a while now, and my skin tags are gone, my dark skin patches are gone, my acid reflux is well maintained unless I get a hold of foods I shouldn't be eating, and my sleep apnea is gone. And I know that Jason, Liddy Lou, what else were you suffering with? Because Jason, tell him all the things. We always talk about your weight and your A1C, but I'd like to talk about some of the other things that you don't normally talk about that you've overcome, because I know there was like sleep apnea, I know there was energy and anxiety and all of that stuff. But why don't you type it in and let people know what was happening with you? Um, so really, while he's doing that, if he still is hanging out with us, 'cause he's a social butterfly, guys. Jason is a social butterfly, and I love him for it. But if you guys are suffering with any of these things, if you need me to explain why it's linked to insulin resistance, I will. But I want you to understand that all the things on this list and so many more are linked to insulin resistance. And why did I start down this path? You guys, I started it because I had diabetes that was going really bad. I had weight that I had to get off, and those were the two things. I needed to get my diabetes under control. I needed to lose weight in order for a doctor to do a surgery. And I was desperate. So I was like, I don't know if this is going to work. And I don't know if I like the price, but I'm going to try it. And 2.5 years later, I'm still doing it. So this was my list, or some of my list, before I started the system. So it's not just those things up there. There's a number of other things like neuropathy, edema, retinopathy. I was losing my hair. My eyesight was failing. My eyebrows were even thinning and almost non-existent. I had the excess weight I couldn't get rid of. I had fatty liver. I had lost my gallbladder. I was losing joints. You guys, it's so much more than the few things that are up here. So one of the things I encourage my clients to do is, when you start the system, start writing down everything. Everything that's bothering you, whether you think that it's related or not, because most of the time you're going to wake up one day and be like, oh, look at your list and be like, I don't have leg cramps in the morning anymore. I don't have, my allergies are getting better. My hair is growing in thicker. My eyesight's getting better. All of these things that you don't expect can get better when you get your insulin resistance under control. So Liddy Lou says, Hashimoto's. I had Hashimoto's as well. How is your Hashimoto's doing, Liddy Lou? She had bloating, same. Low energy, same. Insomnia, same. Joint pain, same. All back. I don't understand that, Liddy Lou. Tell me about what you mean when you say all back. So all of those things happened for me, got better for me, and I'm more than happy to talk about it. Guys, it's about that time. I will be back again at 3. I'm going to hang out for a minute. If anybody else has questions, wants to know anything, let me know. And I will, bloated and cranky and brain fog was out of control. Absolutely. That's, those are pretty common. So you guys, let's talk about that really fast. How many of you guys wonder, like, I hear him talking, but I don't know if this is me. So I want to tell you guys I'm going to give you 3 different ways that you can tell if this is you. Okay, number 1 is clinical. If you want to go to your doctor, go to your doctor and have them run a fasting insulin test. It's not a test they normally run. Doctors like Bickman are trying to get them to understand that fasting insulin test is as important and should come before an A1C and a blood glucose test, because those won't go up until the insulin level has been high for a long time. In fact, I got a message yesterday from somebody whose fasting insulin was like at 18, and yet her blood glucose was only 5.4. So if anybody wants to know how it can happen that you have high levels of insulin, but you're not having that A1C and blood glucose high yet, I love to talk about that. Just let me know, I'll tell you. But even though her blood glucose looks normal, they did the insulin test and it's high. So she still is having insulin resistance, even though she's not showing up as high with A1C and blood glucose. We've got to start having our doctors check insulin before they check those other 2, and there's a reason why that happens. So, and Jason, how do you feel now? Bloating gone? Cranky? Well, he likes to pretend at being cranky because he likes to look like a grizzly bear so he can cover up the fact that he's just a teddy bear. But all right. I lost track of where I was with that. Oh yeah, 3 ways. Okay, fasting insulin test. So do that. Then if you are like, I'm not in a place where I can go to the doctor, I don't want to go, I don't want to ask. If you take your last labs, your last physical, and you're going to find your complete metabolic panel, and you're going to find your lipid panel, then in there you're going to find one that's called your triglycerides and one that's called your HDL. Nope, you thought I was going to say LDL, didn't you? Because that's the one everybody wants to focus on. But the LDL, there's a component to that we need to understand that is important as to when it becomes damaging. And this calculation I'm going to give you can tell you if you have the damaging kind of LDL. I'm not going to get into all the science behind it. Take the triglyceride number from your labs and divide it by the HDL number. That number should be 2.0 or less. Now, what that's really doing is giving you an indication of your LDL profile, which is giving you an indication of how insulin resistant you are. If it's over 2, you're having a problem. If it's 3 or above, you need to address it. This is according to the NIH and Dr. Bickman. So that's the second way that you can tell if you're insulin resistant. The next way, you guys, I like to go to my slides, but I don't have them up. So I'm going to get them up. I'm going to put them up, and then we're going to talk about some physical. So the next way is actually a bunch of ways. So there's a bunch of clues for you that you may be insulin resistant, and we're going to go over those. And if you see yourself in any of these clues, then understand that this is most likely you and start addressing it. Because this is a dietary disorder. It's not, that doesn't work. It's not a disorder. You guys, if you're having a dietary disorder, a medication is not going to fix it. And this is according to Dr. Fung. So metformin, Mounjaro, Ozempic, insulin shots, unless you're type 1 insulin diabetic, those are not going to fix the root cause of why you're sick. They're masking problems. You're still sick underneath. And do you want to just mask the problem, or do you really want to get better? I wanted to really get better. So what I did, these are the things you're going to take a look at to see if this is you. And we're about there. All right. So if you're having hypertension or high blood pressure, that's 95% of high blood pressure is insulin resistance. Okay. Skin tags. Those are an early warning sign. I've been talking about that. I just did 2 videos yesterday. Mine are all gone. Most everybody that's been on the system for more than 6 months, their skin tags are gone. There's a few people that I've talked to that are still getting them gone. Most all of them are gone, but that has to do with how insulin resistant they were in the first place. So skin tags, acanthosis nigricans, those dark skin patches on your elbows, knees, neck, groin. I did videos on that this week too. So check your neck. check your neck, and if you have those things on your neck, you have a problem. Houston, address it, okay? The other two things we're going to talk about real quick right here are PCOS and erectile dysfunction. Somebody asked me about PCOS earlier. Those are actually just, according to Dr. Bickman, metabolic infertility. Fix the metabolism, those things, for by and large, for most people, get fixed as well. Men who've been having erectile dysfunction, who start the system, become insulin sensitive, that goes away. Their testosterone levels normalize. Same thing with ladies in PCOS. So those are 5 ways. So check your neck, your hypertension, and then your fertility. If those are part of you, that you're probably insulin resistant. Now, there's some other ways, okay? So if you have a bulging belly, whether you're thin or fat, that's insulin resistance, and I can go over why I say that if you guys want to know. Then remember, I just talked about triglycerides and HDL. So if your triglycerides are over 150, you have a problem. If your HDL, not LDL, is low, so for men it's under 40 and for women it's under 50, you have a problem. Now the same woman who had a 5.4 A1C and an 18 insulin only had a 54 or a 45 on her HDL. So there are clues in her body that she has a problem before the typical diabetes diagnosis. You guys, don't wait for that. Take care of it now. So if you're constantly hungry, especially after you eat, if you have cold spells after you eat, if you're fatigued after you eat, that's a sign of insulin resistance. That chronic fatigue, all day, every day, the chronic aches and pains in your body that nobody can seem to explain, those are signs of insulin resistance, okay? So migraines, headaches, brain fog, depression, those are all signs of insulin resistance. So if you're wondering if this is you and you maybe want to get it under control, that probably is you. And look, I've had conversation with a number of people this week, and I want to tell you something. There's no shame in hanging out and figuring out if this is for you or not. I've had people who've waited almost a year. I hope you don't wait a year to start trying this, and they're like, I don't know why I waited so long. I've had people who waited 6 months. I've had people who waited 3 months. I've had people who said, that lady makes sense, I'm going to try this. It's all about you and what you want to do to make your health better. So we had this conversation yesterday. In my opinion, we have 2 choices, right? We can either choose to spend the money we're spending and create disease in our bodies and live a life that's painful and not rewarding, which is where I was. I say that with full because that's where I was. Or, and this is, I'm talking a lot about me too, we can take the leap, spend the $5 a day, and change our life. So it's real food products, it's not damaging your system. There's a 90-day money-back guarantee. Do it for 90 days or don't do it at all. I'm not even playing around with that anymore. Because if you can't be committed to yourselves and understand that this is something that was caused by the food industry, it didn't happen to you overnight. If you can't give your body the chance to be like, I can do better now and it's going to take me a minute, then you're probably not in the right mindset to do this in the first place, and just don't do it. I mean, but if you are, if you're ready, you're really ready to get better, then do it and contact me, because when you purchase through the link that I talked about, you get access to me. You start getting texts from me. You get a video from me that tells you how to do it. We get on the phone if you have questions. You have access to me all the time. So don't do it alone. Let me help you through it, and let's get you feeling better. Because 2 years ago, I'm going to stop with this, but I had a walker, a cane, and disability plates on my car. I couldn't walk up and down stairs. If there was stairs, there had to be handrails on both sides so I could pull myself up. And I swore every step of the way because it hurt so bad. This summer, I ran up and down a set of stairs. So if $5 a day is worth it for you to see if you can get there from where I was, if you're anything like I was, try it. And give yourself 90 days, give yourself 90 days and allow me to help you and utilize me. Don't worry about reaching out. So there's that. I'll be back at 3 p.m., you guys. and we'll talk some more. So if you have people, and Liddy Lou, right? I didn't wait because my journey was at a point where I was desperate, and so I saw it, and I actually was bugging out like, I need to get on this. But everybody's journey is different. So there's no shame in sitting and listening and understanding if this is for you or not. And there's never any pressure. But I'll see you guys at 3. And thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for trusting me with your time and listening to me. It's always a pleasure. And I'll see you later. Have a good one, guys. Melba. Oh, I gotta shut this down. We'll see you later, honey.